Welcome to the PDAC 2026 here in Toronto. And I'm very glad to have with me here, the CEO of Renforth Resources, Nicole Brewster. How are you doing, Nicole?
Great. Thanks very much for having me.
Yes, maybe just refresh a bit of the memory from our audience about your company, Renforth Resources. Tell us a bit about the background, the history, and your projects, a little bit of overview.
Okay? Absolutely. So Renforth Resources trades on the CSE, our symbol's RFR. We're an exciting junior company with two proven deposits. The first is the Parbec Gold Deposit in Malartic. We're actually beside Canada's largest open pit gold mine on Canada's most prolific gold structure, which is very deep, and we've only started the job. We're still shallow. Nearby, we have a very large property. It's more than 300 square kilometers. It has several areas of interest and mineralization we've proven on it, but the most advanced is the Victoria polymetallic deposit. It's a combination of all the critical minerals, nickel, cobalt, platinum, and palladium, combined with zinc, copper, silver, and gold. And the neat part of both our properties is they have road access. They're both near Malartic, Québec. We're in the bottom of the Abitibi gold camp, so we're in a centuries established mining district, and both properties have power. We have the workforce nearby, and we couldn't operate cheaper. We couldn't pick a better place in Canada to be operating than where we are.
So Nicole, just talk a bit about some of the projects now. So let's talk about Parbec. You resumed the stripping on Parbec. So tell us a bit, share the story, how you want to move forward with this project.
Yeah, so Parbec, we're chipping right now. That's the first step in our stripping program. And what that means is we're removing between 1 to 3 meters of overburden, so that's actually not a lot, from the area within our open pit footprint for our gold deposit. So our gold deposit is 79% measured and indicated within an open pit. Measured is the best class of resource ounces you can have. So we're going to uncover the rock that's never been seen before by moving the dirt that's over top of it. And the reason for that is, down deeper in the same spot, we're planning to do an underground bulk sample where we will dewater the existing ramp, and we will go underground to take a bulk sample, a large amount of rock which contains gold, and we'll ship it out to have it processed to both recover gold, but more importantly, to continue our study of the metallurgical characteristics of the rock. Our previous work gave us 97-98% recoveries, so we don't expect any issues, but this is part of the process on the way to building a mine at Parbec, which is the big picture. That's what we're doing.
So let's turn to the Victoria. So your recent results showing some consistent showing of palladium and platinum. So how does it enhance your project value over there?
So Victoria is, again, the road runs down the middle of it, and we declared our resource from the road to the west over 2.5 kilometers. We declared that resource with only 10,000 meters of drilling, which is not a lot of drilling. Our spacing is pretty wide, but we rushed perhaps to declare the resource because we're in a changing world. Critical minerals are only becoming more important, and Victoria is totally new. It's a completely new discovery. That 2.5 kilometers of strike length east-west of our resource, which stretches north-south from 150 to 500 meters in width, but that 2.5 kilometer length is within a 20 kilometer long mineralized structure, which is on the same property. And actually we have the sister structure to the north, and we have another showing to the south. And then there's a large geophysical anomaly we know is the nickel body in between the sister and Victoria. So we have a lot of this mineralization. Our resource sits in an open pit with a less than 1-to-1 strip ratio. So it's at surface. We've done some stripping there. We've seen it. We've drilled it. Our deepest pierce point is only 200 meters though, and we're going to do more drilling. What we last announced was the platinum and the palladium at Victoria, and it's important to remember that our resource at Victoria, which is expressed as a nickel equivalent because nickel is the most fiscally interesting metal in the deposit, but it does not include the platinum or the palladium because while we knew they were there when we rushed to declare our resource, we hadn't done enough assaying. We've now completed our assaying, and going forward, we will include platinum and palladium, which will be, I expect, fairly low grades, but these metals are very, very expensive precious metals, very sorely needed for a number of applications. So even a low grade of these will impact the value per ton of the material contained in the Victoria deposit in a positive way.
So you're also working with CTRI on the sustainability initiative. So why this is significant for your company?
So Victoria is interesting because I told you it's a new discovery. There's nothing there. It's never been done before. And that gives us the opportunity to move forward in the most not only efficient way for our shareholders, but also the most responsible way, just as Canadians. So one of the things we're doing is we've started a research partnership with the Center for Technological Innovation in Rouyn-Noranda. They're going to assess a few things. The two most important or most interesting things they're going to assess for us is the ability of the ultramafic rocks at Victoria to sequester carbon. It's fascinating, but when these rocks are exposed to oxygen, nothing else done, just exposed to oxygen, they permanently sequester carbon due to a chemical change in the rock. That would probably allow us to be net zero in the future, if not sequester more carbon than we create. And the other thing they're working on, which is incredibly important, is to identify local, unique organic chemistries, which would be they would be used in the leachate. At Victoria, I'll back up a step. At Victoria, we did metallurgical work with the support of the Quebec government last year, and that metallurgical work has proven that we could, with grinding and flotation, conventionally produce, concentrate with 3 streams, ultramafic, the graphitic mudstone, and a mixed stream. That would be conventional. However, there's a better way to go forward, which I'm really excited about, and that's to heap leach the material. That would put the minerals in solution, and if EVs or batteries are the ultimate end use of the materials, they need to be in solution. If metal, if stainless steel or infrastructure is the ultimate end use, you can bring the metals out of solution. To do that, we're looking at using organic chemistries, much better for the environment, in order to run the heap leach. So stay tuned. But that is doable. Both of those things, the carbon sequestration and the local organic chemical leach, are used elsewhere. The last innovative thing we're doing with Victoria to be better citizens is we can sort the material. We can take the mineralized material and remove it from the larger volume of material, which includes waste. By taking the waste out of the circuit, we are doing less processing, using less water, less chemistry, less tailings at the end of the day. So just reducing our focus to what's truly important. So we've got quite a few innovative, sustainable initiatives underway.
So let's talk about on the financing side. You recently raised some capital. So what will be your priorities for 2026? And would you hope to raise more capital down the road as well to do some more work?
We need more money. I don't hide that fact. We always need money. I don't feel Renforth is a bank. So if you want a bank stock, don't buy Renforth. I raise enough money. I raise only the amount of money I can put in the ground pretty immediately, because I don't want to be raising a huge amount of money, start the work, have the stock price change, yet I've got all this cheaper dilutive money in the bank. That does nobody any good. So will we have to raise more money? Yes. Am I necessarily going to raise it through the public market issuing common shares? Maybe not. I have several conversations ongoing. Depending on when you see this, maybe something will have crystallized for alternative fundraising sources. So you'll hear more about that later this year. One of them will work.
So the last and of course important question for investors to know is about the share price. So Renforth's been trading around 2 cents for a little while now. So why do you think that this company is going up north from here? What kind of catalyst are investors looking for Renforth?
I think the catalysts and our focus this year is Parbec. My focus is to monetize Parbec. I'm building a gold mine. Make no mistake, because that's ultimately how I will monetize Parbec. Along the way, we'll do the bulk sample, which will end up recovering gold. We'll do drilling. Ahead of the bulk sample, you'll see us do some definition drilling. Backing up further, once the stripping's done, we will map, we will sample on surface. We'll see, Parbec's pretty vertical, so we'll see on surface pretty much exactly what we're targeting at 100 meters depth for the bulk sample. That'll allow us to better position our drill holes. We're also currently refining our geological model, and it's very exciting, and it's showing us a lot of potential to drill within the deposit. So another catalyst, you asked about catalysts. Completion of stripping sampling, that'll generate assay results. Drilling, that'll generate results. Dewatering the decline, once we have the permits, that'll start to de-risk the asset in the view of other mining companies. The bulk sample itself, and we're pushing into later this year, if not next at that point, that'll be a big one. And along the way, we'll be restating the resource, because once we drill to localize our bulk sample better, we'll have more than 79% of our ounces in measured and indicated, or maybe we'll identify more gold ounces to add to the resource. So it's exciting. There's actually a lot planned this year. There is a financing solution looming, which would be non-dilutive. Mind you, I had a shareholder here at PDAC yesterday say, wait, aren't you going to do flow-through this year? I'll need my Renforth flow-through. I said, we'll talk later in the year. So nothing's carved in stone in my world, but we're trying to be innovative, and we're trying to really focus on Parbec and move that towards a point of inflection where it'll be irresistible to everyone.
Thank you, Nicole, for sharing an update with us here, with our audience here, and looking forward to speaking with you soon again.
Awesome. I appreciate everyone's time. Have a lovely day. And if you have any questions, Nicole at renforthresources.com. And don't forget, RFR on the CSE. Have a good day, guys.
Yes, thank you.